No man is above the law. And yet, in the book that I will detail to you today, we will encounter the story of one man who deludes himself into thinking that he is able to commit the most heinous of God's crimes and get away with it. I am Shan Asesor, and I will tell you of the story of the 1866 psychological thriller suspense novel by Fyodor Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment. Crime and Punishment follows the story of one Rodion Raskolnikov. Raskolnikov literally meaning schismatic or split. Now this Raskolnikov fella, he is described as tall, slim, handsome, and he's also described as well-educated. And yet for all these good traits that he has, he's also described as narcissistic, arrogant. This can be seen in his thoughts, as he himself avers interaction with other people. And in his mind, we can see that he thinks of them as lower than him. And he thinks of himself as superior, above the common man. Now, admittedly, I have only read the first part of the book. These are the chapters 1 to 7. And yet, even in the opening part, not really opening, but even in part 1, we already see Raskolnikov commit the crime. He killed his landlady and the landlady's sister so that he can take their money. Because for all the good that Raskolnikov has, wealth is not one of them. However, through the course of the book, at least if you read the later parts, I believe that we will see Raskolnikov's development, his psychology, why he thinks the way he does. We'll also see what the extent that he does, all the rationalizations that he thinks of in order to escape from his crime, in order to justify the actions that he has done. Because, as stated before, Raskolnikov is delusional. He's arrogant. He believes that whatever actions he does, the consequences do not apply to him. As he sees himself as extraordinary, he wants to be like one of the greats. Alexander, Napoleon, Julius Caesar. The men in history have risen above the common rabble. And yet, Raskolnikov is not one of those men. He's simply one of us. However, due to his insecurities, he believes that he is one of them. He deludes himself, rationalizes. He does all this mental gymnastics. And we can see that it's fueled by none other than his pride. However, as his name implies, Raskolnikov is not a one-dimensional villain. He's a tragic protagonist. As in parts of the book, even in part 1, we can see where he does acts of kindness. When it would do no benefit to him, he still does it. They are few and far in between, sure, but these small moments, these small acts of mercy and compassion from Raskolnikov shows that he himself is just a troubled individual, insecure and delusional. And yet that is no excuse for what he has done. In the context of our modern society, the themes in the book are still prevalent. Especially now, with the rise of social media, where we constantly compare our lives to others, where we constantly try to make ourselves appear the best that we can, appear better. To be fair, there is no problem with striving to be the best that you can be. However, when you think of yourself better than others, even when you are not, that's when we face problems. Back to the context of modern society, we can see narcissism, arrogance, especially in social media culture, where the influencers constantly compare their lives, the videos, the likes, the shares. They think these numbers mean something, and that they're validations of why said influencers are better than us, better than the others. And yet, no. Because, like Raskolnikov, we keep deluding ourselves that we are not afraid, that we are better, we are not weak. When in fact, in reality, we are. We might think that laws of society do not apply to us. We think that we will not be punished for what we have done. And yet, always remember, when you commit a crime, there is always a punishment.